You know what's crazy is that it seems to be a tactic to accuse your opponent of things that you are verified guilty of. It's silly. This is a clown world we live in where people are not seeing it, or blind to it, or not catching on, or still not understanding it, ignoring it, whatever. Some people are so biased that they don't care if it destroys their world. They don't care if it destroys their world. It's crazy. It's because they it's almost insane. Like mentally, it's like a mental illness to you think somebody's trying to destroy your life, but you're willing to destroy your own lives before you let him destroy your life. So the ending is all the same. Your life is being destroyed, but now it's in your own hands, right? I know, I get it. Some people rather take their own life than I'll die my way than let you choose how I die, type of shit, right? But it's like the one that you're going against, you've been convinced that he's going to destroy your life when he's actually, and I hate to use the word savior because that's only Jesus, but I'm just saying, like, not on that level, on the lowest level savior, right? Not even on a low, because it's on a high level, because saving a country is on a high level. Just he's not the highest level savior, Jesus, right? So I just want to get that clear right now when I say the savior. Like, you're going against your actual savior. You've been convinced that your savior is your enemy. And what's crazy is that you've seen that he helped the fucking country, but because of the manner in which how it came off of his tongue, the things that he says is it trumps it trumps his actions. Since when? Why is everything backwards now? Why does words trump actions now? I thought it was always actions over words. Why are people on the left doing the exact opposite? Everything opposite. It's almost all like, I don't care what that opposite is. It just has to be opposite of what we've. It's like we've got to unlearn everything. We've been brainwashed or something. Like everything is brainwashed. Like this whole everything we've ever learned was just all fake. A lot of it is fucking fake, but some things are just logical and common sense, right? Like, I know not everything I've been taught is some brainwashing shit or some psyop shit, right? Like, but Democrats have this thing where it's all like everything I've ever learned, I have to beat it out of myself, even the things that are logical. You guys are fucking mentally challenged. You guys are going against your own interest because of a title. And I get it because I have learned to hate Democrats and find reasons to hate new ones. But at the same time, I'm not stupid. Like I'm not gonna vote for a Republican if he is actually worse than that Democrat. Or I'd rather just not vote at all, but I'm not going to vote for a clear terrible president um because I don't like Democrats. I don't like Democrats' ideologies. Well, I can't everything opposite of righteous shit, like, all right, on the face of shit, it's all like, okay, the right wants to protect life. They love their family and God. The left hate the country. They've made it clear. They hate the country and everything it stands for. I get, like, some of the things this country stands for is like, I can get it, but it's not like everybody's fucking evil. It's not like all of it's evil or any of that shit, right? Like, some of it, yeah, it's some systematic shit, but it's really not against any. It's against, like, the majority, though. It ain't against, like, just, oh, we're just handpicking you. Like, it's all poor people. Don't matter if you're white, black, or whatever. It's all poor people. So the left, a lot of them, I know there's leftists that are Christians and Catholics and all this shit, but it's their side. You don't see a whole. I'm saying the left because you don't see Republicans doing this. Uh, saying not believing in God. Um, You know, they don't believe in God. They have the most broken homes. They incentivize their politicians, not the citizens. Their politicians incentivize single motherhood to keep the father out the home. Um, Jesus, what is it that I said that the three things that we love is the polar opposite. Protecting life, babies, right? They kill babies and throw confetti in the air. Like it used to be like emotional thing. Like even if you did have an abortion, you'd be coming out crying. The girl would be coming out crying and sobbing, not because of any pain from the procedure, but because emotionally. She'd be crying. Like she didn't know if she made a mistake or not. Now they're coming out fucking doing the stanky leg and shit and celebrating it. Like it just the vibe, the energy seems evil. It seems fucking evil. And there's nothing there's I can prove for it without a shadow of a doubt. You cannot argue this. You cannot argue this. A baby is a life before it's born. Before it's born. Because before it's born, let's just say it's 6 months. That baby can be cut out and survive. It's at a stage where it can live. I mean, shit. 4 months. I think that's the shortest amount of time a baby has survived premature. So if we have premature babies, then it doesn't go by 9 months when you're a life. If you're a life outside of the womb, well, and if you can survive outside of the womb, then you're a life at the least amount of time that you could be able to survive outside of the womb, which would be 4 months the least, right? Because it's been shown to happen. So if we got proof that a baby being born premature at 4 months survives, that's a fucking life. You can't even argue that. I don't know why anybody used that as an argument. It's the most genius fucking argument of all time. I'm an old soul. I'm an old soul. I got a lot of fucking knowledge. I don't know where it fucking comes from. A lot of logical shit. There's a lot of shit that I say that's not some shit that I've repeated. It's some shit that comes from my fucking head. Shit that people should fucking think about. Right? So I'll give you an example of it, right? Never read this shit nowhere in my fucking life. But I can piece shit together with very little fucking information. Not everything. Not on everything in the world, but some things I can just piece together with very little information. Like what happened to the relationship between the white man and the Indians? You just think white people came over here and pillaged. That's not the case, and I can reassure you of that. Okay, and I'll start right now. You're on a long voyage. You're on a long voyage. You find some land very far away from you. You're short on fucking supplies, hungry, or even if you ain't hungry, you're short on supplies. You know, you're looking ahead like you're going to be hungry. You're about to go to a new land. Would you? Let's just use brains because I don't care what you think. You think the older, like the further far back in history, like people were dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber until you got to cavemen and shit. No, that's not the fucking case. People were not fucking dumb. All right, like you don't go to a new fucking land with a very small fleet of explorers, not an army, explorers, and pick a fucking fight with a land that you just touched down with. You don't know how big this land is. It could be the biggest fucking land on the planet with billions of fucking people on. You don't know, even at that time. You don't know how many people are there. Why would you want to pick a fight with somebody in a new land and you're an explorer and you're low on supplies? You would probably like want to be humble, be very nice to whoever you run into and maybe get help. Maybe can you provide us with food or show us how we can get food or provide for ourselves, like show us your ways. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be making enemies. Now, when were enemies made of between whites and Native Americans? We don't have much on that, right? So what we got to do is take something that's completely fucking something that nobody thinks about, right? That's me. That's me. I think about things that nobody thinks about and piece of shit together. I was curious. I heard the term Indian giver. And we all know that what that means. It means when you make a deal and you go back on it. And it wasn't consensual between both parties to go back on it. Like, it's okay to go back on a deal if both consent to it, but after a deal's made, a deal is fucking made. One person's gonna be like, okay, a deal was made, yo. Like, yo, whew, I'm glad I got it. The other person now is having doubts and is like, no, I want to trade back. You can't do it. That's why you should, before you finalize a deal, you think about it before then. You don't fucking go back on a deal afterwards. But it's okay to go back if both parties consent. I think the relationship between whites and Indians um, um, went sour due to bad trade deals. Bad trade deals. And I say, and you're like, well, why do you think that? Just because of the term Indian giver. Because I looked up, when was that term coined? Okay, so now when you see coined, that means it's has already been through enough of a process before it was coined. So it was coined in the 1700s. So before the 1700s, this was a fucking issue, and it built up to being coined. So I think the Native Americans probably made deals with the white man, and the white man wanted some land. Of course, this is all like, you find a new place, you kind of want to, kind of like a base, you know what I'm saying, to come back and, like, you know, explore some more, you know, find out more about this new land, the people, all that stuff. All right, so it was all friendly. Everybody was getting along. The Indians was helping the white man. The white man was grateful. Um, I think that the trade was made and it involved land, and then maybe they went back on it. And after the deal was made, the white man didn't consent. He was like, "The deal was made. You know, we got to honor the bet. A bet is a bet. A deal is a deal. You got to honor it. You know. Now, if I want to consent and be like, okay, then cool. But I don't. Like, I obtained it and I want to keep it. I don't want to go back on the deal. It was already, you know, we went through the whole thing already. You know, you had time to think about it. You know, it's your land. You have as much time as you want to think about it, because it's, you have what I want, and it's only up to you to give it up, right? So we made the deal. You agreed upon giving me a short piece of land, and other people's argument is all like, well, they didn't know the concept of selling land. It's all like, they were probably like, huh? You want the land? It's for everybody. It's like, do you want to buy the air too? Like, they're thinking it's like something not serious, or like it's a joke or some shit. Like, who jokes like that? And who doesn't take land seriously? That's why you guys always, so that argument is weak too. To say that Indians didn't know the concept of trading land, like, they thought, they didn't know it can be owned, but that's weak, because of course you know it can be owned, because that's why you guys were territorial and warred over that shit with other tribes of Native Americans. So don't tell me you don't know the concept of it. You know how important your territory is. So you made a deal to give up a little parcel of land. You thought about it, you regretted it, and then you probably kept the man off the land and was like, no, 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 no deal. This is my land. No, it's not yours no more. And that probably built up over years, and it was probably a common thing or reoccurrence of Native Americans to be Indian givers. And they built up that stereotype. And then that can really lead to a souring of a relationship between two people, especially if one is known as somebody not to honor deals. That's a pretty big one between men. Okay, so we're like, oh, they're dishonorable. Now at this point, it's all like dishonorable men, just like, you know what I'm saying. And back in those times, so like, fuck them. You know, if they aren't honorable men, then we don't respect them. And you know what happens when you don't respect somebody? You don't care about them. And it's humanity. That's not a white thing. That's like the whole world. You know, the white man didn't create slavery. We didn't create slavery. And America has probably the shortest stint in slavery. I mean, it's a new world, yo. It's like fucking for to the white man. In the white, there was slavery here before the white man was here. The Indians did it for 12,000 years, and actually they migrated. This ain't even their fucking land. They migrated from fucking Siberia. That's why the fuck they got them high cheekbones, look like fucking Vladimir Putin and shit, and structured in their face. They're from Siberia. They came across that motherfucking shit and across the fucking ice, or that land bridge or whatever the fuck, and that's how they got here. All right. Well, of course they evolved and all this shit, and probably mixed with certain people. Maybe there was already some people already here and they made it with them and they all got bred out. They're like, we're all mixed now. There's no full white people left on the planet. There's no full anything left on this planet. Who's 100% anything no anymore? Even if you got 2% of sub-Saharan or whatever in you, you're still mixed. If you got anything mixed in you, you're mixed. I don't care if it's 0.5%. Somewhere down the line, somebody mixed. All right. So, anyways, so yeah, I think that's just an example of just like being able to piece things together, a scenario and stuff, and trying to make sense of things. I don't see people just, oh, stupid white people came over here and picked a fight with fucking Indians. They don't know how many people are on that fucking land. They're short on supplies. They're not an army. They're an exploration. They're just exploring. Like, does that make sense? Does that make sense? Is that a sensible fucking story? Why is that being fucking taught? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. There had to be a relationship between white man and the fucking Native America for it to even build up to be enough men to even be able to take land from Native Americans. So there had, you know what I'm saying? Like if white people came over here instantly was trying to pick a fight, well, guess what? Well, the Indians, the Native Americans would now be prepared and be all like, we don't want them over here. But no, there's a long period of time where it built up where white people fucking built up numbers on this fucking land. That means there was a long relationship with Native Americans. And it had to not have been that bad because it had to have been a good relationship because otherwise the Native Americans would have fucking known, hey man, patrol them beaches, we gotta have patrol on them fuck spotters on them beaches and make sure them ships don't come over here. And if they do, then they gotta come to us and then we're gonna prepare for war. Because we're not letting them on this fucking land. And there would never be a buildup of white people on that land to even begin to start taking land fucking from you, you know, from settling and shit. Because you guys, as Native Americans, would have saw that as enough of a threat to fucking get with other tribes to prevent them from fucking conquering you. Because then it would be like an invasion, right? So you would treat it like an invasion. But it wasn't, it was clearly not an invasion. It was clearly not an invasion. There was a mutual respect at the beginning, and then the relationship soured due to bad trade deals.